Darnell Tate at 4. We're getting to draft. I'm gonna say surprises, because I don't know if anybody is a draft loser on draft day. I just
Yeah.
don't like that. Like, and we're reasonable, right? Like, we talk about who did well and all that stuff. Half these guys aren't going to pan out. I mean, that's just the reality.
All we're going about, uh, we're thinking about the expectations and the value from their, like, from them being a
That's
prospect.
it.
We don't know what they're gonna
That's
do.
it. Because like sometimes people are like, oh well, we took such and such at 8 and they panned out, and I'm like, unless that's a quarterback or defensive end, not necessarily. Because if you took a guy at 8 that panned out that you could have gotten at 25, like who else could you have
Yeah,
gotten with those mid round picks? So I do think
yeah,
there's always sort of utility in looking at just where guys are seen as prospects and where they're drafted and where they're taken, because that's just kind of a part of how you got to maneuver the board, and whatnot. But draft surprises, like I said, I'm not gonna call anybody losers. I thought Cardinal Tate at 4 was a bit high. And
yep.
the Titans,
That's
the
mine.
Titans get,
That's one of mine.
yeah, they give me a little bit of struggle. Look, I'll make a point against myself first. You drafted a guy number 1 last year at quarterback. You don't know if he's the guy. And we talked about this with Cleveland and New York, but like they've got to evaluate Cam Ward too, because if they are picking
Hmm.
1, 2, or 3 next year, they've got to consider Arch or Dante Moore or Sorsby or whoever else. And so I get their thought process and saying, all right, let's go out here and get him a weapon, because we've got to have things in place to be able to properly evaluate him. They couldn't properly evaluate Cam Ward last year, so we don't even know if he can
Hmm.
play. That
Hmm.
said, I mean, did nobody want to come up and get Arvell Reeves? Like, was there no one fielding a phone call? Did nobody want to come up and get Sonny Styles? Did nobody want to come up and get Jordan
No.
Tyson? Like, these are the types of things you and I aren't privy to. But look, Jeremiah Smith is an otherworldly wide receiver, and so, for example, if Jeremiah Smith comes out this year, I'm not going to
Hmm.
say he's a number 1 pick, because that seems to be reserved for quarterbacks, but he'd have a chance to be number 1
Yeah.
pick. Here's
Yeah.
what I will guarantee you on April 29th, 2026. The first non-quarterback taken in next year's draft will be Jeremiah Smith. All right. Now, buddy from South Carolina, I forget his name right now, defensive end. Might have
Oh yeah, Dylan Stewart.
Okay, I'm about to say
He might have an
I just
argument.
I just
He might have an argument, brother.
I thought about it as soon as
say,
it came.
say first offensive
I was
player,
like, I know I thought about it. As soon as it came, I'm like,
bro.
all right, Dylan Stewart might be my
Listen,
bad. But first offensive player, first non quarterback, it'll be Jeremiah Smith. I don't know. I just
you know who he reminds me of though?
don't say Clowney.
That, no, no, no,
Oh,
no, no, no. He reminds me of not as strong Will Anderson.
ooh,
He has to put on a little bit more muscle. But as far as the pass, just straight pass
yeah,
rush, bro,
yeah.
he's a beast.
Hey, I mean,
He's a
we'll
beast.
get to this. We and
Yeah,
we knew each other back then, and so it's funny, like being watching football long enough to where this is the case. To promise I'm gonna bring this full circle,
yeah,
like because in 2011 we all talked about in the moment that being one of the most historic draft classes in the NFL. Like it's not hyperbole. Like we can go back and look at people's tweets and blog posts or whatever.
mhm.
Like I remember, I went back because I took a screenshot. I was like, "Yeah, Von Miller." I think I threw Marcel Darius in there too. Von Miller, Marcel Darius, Patrick Peters, and Julio Jones are
Yeah. It was
all gonna be Hall
crazy.
of Famers. Like
Yeah.
their evaluations were like that. 2027 shaping up to kind of be a little bit of a similar class. Anyway, that being said, so yeah, Jeremiah Smith, first offensive player. So I know you got to get weapons for Cam Moore, but Cardinal Tate at 4 seemed a bit high for a team that is barren across the board, right? And so if Arvell Reese goes
Yeah.
next, and it's like you can also help evaluate your quarterback by getting
Yeah.
additional playmakers on defense that get him the ball at his own 37 instead of his own 14 more often, or getting another offensive tackle to help move the chains and get him into 2nd and 7 and 6 instead of 2nd and 9 and 10, right? Like there are lots of other things I think they could have done to help him, and I thought Tate at 4, I don't necessarily see his evaluation, his projection as a high end number 1 guy. And I think you only take a
Hmm.
wide receiver in the top 10 if you think you don't always
That's
get it,
yeah.
but you think, all right, yeah, I'm getting Julio Jones or AJ Green or Justin Jefferson, and I don't see that. But I think Tate's a high end wide receiver too.
Yeah, yeah. I I think so. Like Devontae Smith was a number one at Alabama, but he's been a number two in the
Yeah.
league. I don't think he's better than Devontae Smith.
No.
Like his ceiling isn't that, and that's kind of disrespectful to even compare the two because of what Devontae did in college. But yeah, so in my, I think the Cardinals and Tennessee would have benefited greatly for just trading back.
Yeah.
So because they need so much,
Yeah.
they need so much. You could have gotten two first, or first this year, first next year, would have set you up because you're going to be bad again this year. So it would have set you up. Or went the defensive route. As you mentioned, defense helps offense and vice versa. Um, I think we all think the one of the question marks was the Rams. I think it's a question mark because of how close they are, not because of the player they picked. To
Yeah.
me, it's bro, you're close. Can you get a difference maker right now to get you over the hump? Possibly, you already thinking about the future, which I get it, but you're so close. So I get both sides of it, but you're thinking like, man, Matthew Stafford could have beat the Eagles 2 years ago. They just did. The Seahawks, they were on a heater in the postseason. It just wasn't going to happen. But they did. They got Trent McDuffie in the first round, so I guess they were like, you know what, first round pick.
Yeah.
So got the Falcons first. Got the Falcons first rounder. So I guess in hindsight, they're like, hey, Trent McDuffie was our first round pick. Now let's use this pick to build for the future. But I can see the arguments on both sides. It's still kind of a question mark.
Yeah, I hate it. I actually hate it.
They're too close, bro. They're too
I
close.
I I think it's stupid. Um, I think if you pan the Falcons for reaching for Michael Penix a couple years ago, and you trying to justify this, um, you're being hypocritical and stupid. And then not only that, like you had the 13th pick and you took Ty Simpson, and the rest of their draft is Max Clare, tight end Ohio State, Keegan Charles, tackle from Missouri. It took CJ Day. Like they got no contributors for this
No,
team this year
yeah,
from this draft.
yeah.
Nothing.
I see why they always say F them picks. They can't
You
draft.
know? And so that might be their approach. And the thing I would even, and this goes back. Look, man, y'all go back and watch the first part. Dating pool got piss in it. You got a spouse that do 8 out of the 10 things you need. You better make it happen. They haven't been in a quarterback evaluation game in a very long time. If you remember, they traded for Matthew Stafford. You remember that?
Uh-huh.
When's the last time they had to evaluate a quarterback? When Obama was still president, right? Like so. I think some of this is just like natural. We got to start thinking about this as how often do these guys actually do this? I don't know the last time
Yeah,
this front office, anybody needed to evaluate and actually draft a quarterback. So I'm
yeah,
not going to give them the benefit of the doubt on this. I can do it on other things, but I have no reason to believe that they're good at evaluating quarterbacks. They lucked into Jared Goff at that point, and
yep,
then it was just a good swap, a great trade for everybody with Matthew Stafford. That's one. Two, you mentioned this. They've been close for many years. You got no contributors this year. I don't care if you got an extra first round pick and you say Trent McDuffie's
yeah,
our pick. Okay, you were one win away from the Super Bowl. Go get another impact guy, especially at 13. That's two and three.
yeah,
I do not like. Look, Ty Simpson made what 14 starts. The track record,
yeah.
the,
I think it was
the
14.
track record on guys who make that few starts translating to the league is just not very good. I know Alabama had Jalen Milroe. Hey man, if Ty Simpson was worthy of the 13th overall pick, he would have started over
He would have
Jalen
beat him
Milroe.
up.
You know, like at that position, especially when you've got that kind of talent, you flash it early. Doesn't mean you put it all together. All right. But you flash it early. And the fact is, he didn't get on the field until this past year on a heater the first part of the year after the clunker against Florida State, which I think brings up even more questions about his NFL evaluation. And then when he got injured later in the year, kind of tailed off and didn't play as well. And when people bring that up, I'm like, how often do you think quarterbacks play healthy in the NFL?
Yeah,
And so I, I'm kind of lost for. I don't understand what they're doing at all here.
I didn't like it because of the team who did it, and you tried to. I see why they were trying to justify it, but you were too close. You're in that division. You need another impact guy. You don't know what the 49ers are doing. I don't feel like they improved. But Seattle isn't going anywhere. McDonald isn't going anywhere. Like that defense is still going to be like that. So get your impact guy, whoever you just take the best player available at that position, and you improve yourself as a
And let it
team
rock.
because 13 is not where you're picking. Like you're never you won't get a hopefully, and that organization should not be picking
You're
13.
not getting back there established at
So
quarterback.
yeah, you're 25 to
Yeah,
32. That's where you're picking. So you could have got a quality player at 13. So
yeah. I don't get it. I got one more scratch, like real head scratcher.
what you got?
I want to talk about. We give these guys the benefit of the doubt, and they've earned it. They've earned it. I don't know what the hell Kansas City was doing. I, I don't.
Bro, certain teams I watch, we're haters of certain teams, and I'm like, please don't get a guy. Yes, please don't get a guy. Yes, like when they went up to six, in my mind, I'm like, okay, who are they getting? All right, bet you got a corner. I don't care about a
I
corner.
don't.
Um, Selfishly, I'm thinking about the matchup Ravens. Like when I'm watching the Bills draft, I'm watching the Chargers and the Chiefs, and I'm comparing them. All right, the Chiefs moved up to get a corner, basically a swap for Trent McDuffie.
Yep.
Cool, get him as long as you're not getting pass
Yes.
rush. And they got our Mason Thomas,
Okay.
which I like
Yeah.
him, but Chris Jones, he about to be out of this
Yeah.
one. Peter Woods, he fell back half of the first round. I think he's still the first rounder, but it's like, yeah, man,
Look,
I wasn't like frightened about what they did.
me neither. Look, like you said, when I saw them trade up, I'm like, okay, aggressive for Ruben Bain or maybe even Sonny Styles.
I was thinking
You
Ruben
know, I'm
Bain.
like, okay, gosh dang it. They see an opportunity here. And they went and took
Yep,
Mansour Delay. I'm like, okay, so you just replaced Trent McDuffie. Cool. Great.
that's it.
Fantastic.
Cool.
Like,
And he might not be that guy in year
might
one.
not be, right?
He might
You
not
know,
be.
Peter
Might not even pan out. We know our corners are iffy, man. I don't know why,
is hit
but
or miss. Peter Woods doesn't really strike a whole lot of fear in me. You know, he's not going to
uh,
completely disrupt your interior, what you want to do
yeah,
on the
yeah, yeah.
interior, a little undersized there. I liked our Mason Thomas at Oklahoma. Cool. Do I think he turns into Derek Thomas? No. Um, Look, they've earned the benefit of the doubt, and for very good reason. And they took a flyer on the nuts bust in the seventh round, which is going to
Yeah.
be interesting because he might get some snaps this year, depending upon how
Mm-hmm.
Patrick's rehab comes along. Though I'm pretty sure he'll be ready by week one. Yeah, I think if any other team literally does what they did, there's a
Mm-hmm.
whole lot more C plus. What are the Chiefs
Yeah.
doing? Now, nobody in sort
Uh-huh.
of mainstream NFL media wants to say that because they're like it's the Kansas City Chiefs. But like, look, the Rams are a great front office. I don't know what the hell they just did. I don't know what Kansas City did here. I don't know how
Yeah.
they materially got better. It's like they draft to replace and draft to replace. And like, look, they got 15, so he cancels out a lot of different things. But I will say, we say this all the time, man. You miss on just a draft, and you get
Mm-hmm. It can set you
you
back.
get what they had this past year. They've got nothing in that receiver room after Rashi Rice, and there's no guarantee that man don't end up in prison or suspended for 8 or 12 or 16 games. Um,
Or and it's I don't I'm not disrespecting him by saying he's not a complete gadget guy, but a lot of his explosive plays
they drawn up.
they're drawn
Yeah,
up.
I
Like
mean,
they're schemed up. So it's if he has to be schemed up, he's not a true number
yeah,
one. That's my philosophy around number one. You get Jamar Chase, put him out there, give him a little back shoulder, give him a hitch, and he can take it
I'm
75
open.
yards. Like, even Justin Jefferson is schemed up, but he gets open a lot.
Mhm.
But yeah, so they need help in that department, man. And I just don't. You can't rely on 15 forever. You're gonna. You don't want to eventually get to that Tom Brady place in the back half of his Patriots career where they didn't have any wideouts. They had Gronk,
That was about it.
but they didn't have any
Yeah,
wideouts. He was throwing to
yeah,
anybody. But when it gets to the postseason, man, that coverage gets tighter. Defensive schemes, they have a lot of more film on you, and it's just like, man, I'm gonna just play these guys, man. And we have a pass rush, and you can play man. You know how much you can
yeah,
do.
man. They had 2 first round picks, and I didn't think took anyone of a position of premium value with either. And we talked about the Jets getting a tight end and a wide receiver, and an edge rusher. We talked about Cleveland, sort of building out, and for those types of teams who are clearly building in anticipation of a quarterback next year down the road, I think that makes a little bit more sense. But for a team who sort of already has the basis of a Super Bowl contender, that gets a little bit more fishy. And even the Jets, right? They went Kenyon Sadiq at tight end, but those other 2 first round picks, premium positions, edge rusher, wide
Hmm.
receiver. Cleveland kind of the same situation with their premium picks. We both think this. I think offensive tackle is a premium position. Period. If you don't have
Yeah,
tackle, so they went offensive tackle and then went back to back with wide receivers. I don't understand what Kansas City did there, and I think we should be panning them a little bit more because who cares what you did last year? And
it
I
doesn't
just
matter.
look. We're starting to see it. We saw it in the Super Bowl. They lost to Philly. We saw it in Tampa, and then they were able to restructure and regear. I think there might be a little hubris happening in Kansas City. I think they are starting to assume that okay, we
Yes.
just simply regrouped and retooled. Once we figured out what was wrong,
Hmm.
we can do it again. It's not that easy in this league, even with one of the
It's
best
not,
quarterbacks ever. And I think that might be hitting them a little bit too. Uh, let's talk about the Ravens, man.
bro.
We got the Ravens.
Bro, we didn't know what to. Well, I think both of us knew. You know what? This guy's at 14. If he's still there, this is where they're going.
Had to.
But I mean, that's where it started, and I'm not mad at it. I actually, like I said, I'm the offensive line picks in the first half of the draft. It's just not sexy. It's important, but it's just not sexy. This was kind of a sexy pick if you're into football. If you're into football, into watching tape, and see this guy. Hey, I don't even know if I should say that.
Violence.
On not even that. Yes, on the offensive line, I want Samoans and I want MAGA. I'm sorry. That's who I want on my
Hey,
offensive
that's
line,
fact.
bro.
Give me a nice foreign boy who wear his red hat on offensive tackle.
Give me a red hat. I want him in a mullet. I want him in jorts. That's who I want on my offensive line. I don't care, bro. Just
and a
just just look at
and
the
the thong
league.
flip flops. Yes, sir.
Just look at the league, bro. Like, come on. One of those two. That's who I want on my offensive line. They don't care. They don't care. They just want to maul people. That's it. So great ball. That's I'm imagining him, and I know Munkin is gone, but I can't imagine if Munkin had that
Yeah,
at left guard.
yeah.
Like it would have been crazy. The run game would have been stupid. And we talk about the run game last year. Derrick Henry still was second in the lead
This
in
is
rushing.
crazy, right? Crazy.
Still. But yeah, man, it started there. We kind of knew where that was going, but man, Zion Young is one of my favorite players in the draft.
Violence.
Throwed off
Violence.
in a good way.
Yes.
Throwed off.
Yes.
You seen the
I
clip
seen the clip.
pregame?
I seen the clip.
That's all I needed to
And
see.
then he backed it up.
Once backed it up, bro. Once I saw that, I'm like, need him on my
Play like
team.
a Raven.
Now, what I want to say this: the Lane Surratt back to back kind of shocked me.
Mm.
It shocked me because I think they could have gone center. I'm not mad at it. I think they could have gone center, but when you think about, I'm thinking about, I know this team. And in past postseasons, when it comes down to it, it's like, bro, they don't have a big body receiver. You know what? It's 3rd and 7. Coverage is tight. I'm gonna
So you
just
got to
go
go to
back
Mark
shoulder.
Andrews.
I'm just going. I'm going back
Yeah,
shoulders. But you got to go to Mark Andrews on the middle, and then
yeah.
he's not as athletic anymore. He can wall off, but against a really good safety, they kind of, they know his game, so they can pretty much lock him down. Now, whoever emerges out of the two, you got some size, bro,
Hmm.
and red zone. Like Sirach caught 15 touchdowns last year. Most of, I think, 10 were in the red
Big
zone.
body take both lanes.
Like, you can't teach size. And I'm thinking, D Hop was D Hop is old. I think they should have used him in the red zone a lot
Yeah,
more. That's his game should have been regulated to that. Even though it's coming, that guy is not 50-50 ball. It's 80-20, 90-10. So I know Lane, both of them, answer right. They need to refine their route running, but man, back shoulder should be automatic. Deep post, automatic. Because they're gonna wall those guys off.
hmm,
Now you have a weapon that Lamar pretty much has never had.
no,
So, those first one, two, three, those first four picks alone, I'm like, I like it. I love Chandler Rivers. I love Chandler Rivers at corner. When I'm thinking about, I have kind of a not a philosophy, but certain coaches, certain players who were coached by certain coaches, I want them on my
yeah,
team. And for one, a Duke corner who's all ACC, I want him on my team. I know he's smart. I know he's smart, and it's just they're ballers,
yeah,
man.
man.
They're ballers. So Diaz, if you play his secondary for him, I want you.
Yeah,
It's certain players. It's like the Nick Saban. You play in the secondary, I want you on my team.
yeah.
Cristobal, if you play on his offensive line, you were a starter. I think all five starters, whoever entered the draft, I think all of them got drafted.
Oh, he always been making off line.
Always.
Yeah, buddy.
Yeah, so certain players who are coached by certain coaches, I want them on my team.
Hmm.
So I think they had a good draft, man. I'm not mad at anything they did.
Yeah, man, I love the draft. I mean, I won't go. Look, I wanted Ione. I needed Ione. If we got Ione, I love it. He can hopefully
Yep.
he can play guard for the next 15 years and be Marcel Yanda again. Zion Young does have some development to do as a pass rusher, but that doesn't really matter because seldom do you get a guy in the second round who's an instant day one contributor. But he is because he can
Mhm.
play first and second, and on third down we bring in a nice fresh Trey Hendrickson to go get after the pass rusher, which is going to completely change the game for them as well. I was the same way. I didn't understand Jacoby Lane in the third round. When you go back to back on those same two guys, I'm an Indiana
Yeah.
guy. I think we're gonna start see him churn out talent that's ready to play from day one. And so you give yourself two bites at the apple. And you talking about a third and a fourth round pick. That's kind of where you need to be able to do that. A little more underrated, like you meant. I mean, Chandler Rivers was one of my favorites, along with Keelan Rutledge as well. I was kind of surprised he lasted
Yeah.
into the fifth round, so that was solid. Two underrated ones. One, Ryan Eckley. We needed to replace Jordan Stout. Um,
Yeah.
and Eckley got
Hmm.
Eckley got a chance to do a lot of punting last year. So,
Yeah, they did.
so he got some practice, and he's not going to be punting nearly as much this year as well. And then underrated though, I think Adam Randall
I was about to
out
say
of
that.
Clemson, man, you're going to have a chance to really, really another explosive option and threat here on third down. To keep Henry fresh, and I think that's one. This is a good chance for us to sort of see philosophical change from the coaching staff because I think we've gotten into sort of the speedy receiver kind of on the smaller end trope
Mhm.
because well I mean when you have Patrick Ricard and other guys you don't really look for your receivers to do a whole lot of blocking. Well, now you got
Mhm.
big body guys, you can get into a little bit more of that traditional 11 personnel, and now you actually got a chance like you
Mhm.
mentioned to throw some of those back
Mhm.
shoulder fades and also do some tosses maybe to the outside on more of your sort of second intermediates to gain yards there. I think this is Declan Doyle kind of having a little bit of his own stamp on the
Mhm.
offensive personnel here. I love the draft. I mean, other than the Browns, Jets, and Saints, I think the Ravens are right up there just in terms of what they needed, what they've got. Look, Ione is probably. maybe the safest. I'm not the only person saying that. Probably the safest
I
pick
think he was. Yeah,
in this draft. You can plug him in on guard on day one, and there aren't a whole lot of other teams who
who needed?
who need a guard to
Yes.
that
Yeah,
extent. You know
yeah.
what I mean? Uh,
Ravens needed a starting they needed a starter at guard in
100%,
this draft.
100%. So
You mentioned Adam. You mentioned Adam Randall, and two things. He's a big dude.
right,
He's like not too far from Derrick Henry
yeah,
size.
man. 6'2",
I don't think
230,
he's 6'4". I think he's 6'2" or
6'2",
6'3".
230.
6'2", 230. Derrick Henry's like 6'4", 245, something like that. He was a receiver.
Just crazy.
He's a receiver. So in my mind, I went straight to you said third down, but that's Henry comes off. You bring in the Keaton Mitchells and the other guys. It's clearly a passing
Right.
down. Clearly. Now you can bring him in third and two, third and three. They can still run the
Yeah,
ball
RPO.
because he can get tough yards
Mhm.
and he can catch the ball out of the backfield. I watched a lot of Clemson football because I'm a Clemson hater, and he runs through people's faces. He's hard to bring down. So I was excited about getting him in. He was picked 174,
Can't beat it.
and he's clearly your third down back. Obviously, he's going to play special teams and all of that, but clearly your third down back. You can spell Henry, but you're not. There's a big. There's not a big drop off in size, but there's a you're in a better position because he's a much better pass catcher than
Yeah.
Henry. So you improve on third down. There's not a big drop off. And if we're being honest, Henry doesn't. Respectfully, Henry doesn't run the ball all that hard through the tackles.
No.
Now, once he hits the hole,
Oh, it's
and once he passed the first level, it's over with. But as far as all right, I need two and I'm met, is not he doesn't run through people like that. After the first second level is over
yeah.
with. So respectfully.
Yeah.
But if you know how Henry plays, I'm telling the
Yeah,
truth.
man.
Adam Randall, third and two, bro, he's running through somebody's
Yeah,
face.
yeah. He trying to
So
annihilate you.
I like that addition.
And that's one thing, and that's to close the loop on the Ravens. That's look, man, this team got soft as Charmin the past few years under John Harbaugh. Like we talked about them
Yeah,
not having an identity. I lied. That was their identity. They was some soft
yeah,
punks. And you knew you could come in here and just run over John Harbaugh.
yeah,
From Surratt to Lane to Chandler Rivers is 5'8", 185, and a pure dog, right? Like you running in the 5'8", 185 of muscle, he gonna smack the mess out of you. Ione, nasty, Zion Young. Watch the tape in the phone. You know what I'm saying? It's very clear that they were like, hey, we moved on from this philosophy or from this coaching staff, and we got soft. Enough of that. And I like that's important because, again, as Ravens fans, as somebody who lives here, who loves this organization, like, yes, we want Lombardis, but you got to play a certain way here too. You know,
yeah,
like
yeah.
yeah, we want to get over the hump and we want to win the Super Bowl and all the other stuff, but nah, man, we don't want to win games 41-35. No, no, that's soft. That's for Cincinnati.
It is. I want to hold teams to 17 points and fewer.
Yes,
That's it.
yeah,
And I know that is tough to do. I say 17. I want to say 14, but that's kind of borderline impossible nowadays. But I'm okay with under 20. Hold them under 20 points, you should win. Like that is the standard. And it should look a certain type of way.
yeah.
I get it. Certain games may be shootouts like 2024 Ravens Bengals. I get it. Those are outliers. But nah, man. I
Oh,
don't hold those teams.
was that the Sam Hubbard? Oh, he threw up like a rag doll.
Yeah, uh-huh. Yep. And then the Tucker, the win, he kicked it all the way over there and looped it back in.
Oh man.
Bro, I got in trouble that day because I was in Centennial Park watching the game on my phone.
Look, man, if you had me
I,
outside the house,
I was like, look, I can't, come on. They played on a Saturday, I think,
Yeah,
and that's not my
that's not your
fault.
fault. You had me
That's
outside the
not my
house during a
fault.
Ravens game. That's your fault. Look, when the schedule drops, I send the lady to schedule that. Okay, look,
You have to, yeah.
go. This is when I'm not free.
Prime time, I'm not free. I may can move around at 1 o'clock on a Sunday, maybe,
I ain't doing.
but that's not my
I ain't
preference.
doing. When my Ravens on, that's a wrap. Matter of fact, I'd let it be known the week before. So like
Yeah,
in my entire sort of adult dating life for like the past 12 years, serious relationship. I'm like, all right, babe, the Ravens play next week at 4:30. I'm telling her that Sunday night. If they
yeah.
play Thursday, I'm gonna start telling you they play Thursday, the previous Thursday night. I don't want. I'm. I,
I'm letting you
I'm
know.
letting you know. Okay, we only get 17 of these. You can't do that with baseball. You can't do that with no other sport. Matter of fact,
No, but football, it should be understood. You out of 17 games, you're probably what do you get in? 13 Sundays, a
that's
Thursday, a few
indeed.
Saturdays, a few Mondays. Come on now.
Yep.
I can't. I need that day of that
That's
week.
why I was surprised you said the 1 p.m. Because like, look, the Ravens probably only going to play like
Not a handful of 1 p.m.s.
maybe five,
Yeah,
five 1 p.m.s, five 4:30s,
yeah.
three 8:30s,
They're going to
two
be
Thursdays, and two
Sunday
Mondays.
night, Monday night. Yep, yep,
So no, I want
yeah.
these five 1 p.m.s.
I
We
feel
can
you.
we can
I
go to
feel
dinner
you.
afterward.
And I'm locked in right
Yeah,
here.
man. Anyway, schedule
Well,
release.
overall, man, I'm glad. I'm happy with the
Yeah,
moves. A lot of them were need, but it feels like philosophical
yeah,
needs. It's this is Ravens football. This is the kind of guy I want,
yeah.
and we're drafting this guy. First round pick, that was straight need, but it fit the philosophical need.
Indeed.
And now we're getting to Zion Young. We need edge rush, but he builds the mold of Terrell Suggs.
Hmm.
Like
Mm.
that's the type of fire he plays with. I'm getting a Chandler Rivers in the fifth round, a dog at cornerback, maybe 5'10", but we getting a dog at
Hey,
corner.
man.
So I need big body receivers because you know what, Zay Flowers, you might get pushed around in the run game. Rashad Bateman, you're a little thin. All right. Now, if it's third down, I'm in 11 personnel. I have my two guys, two tall guys with Mark Andrews. We can
Mhm.
pass and we can run. You don't know. So I like it,
I'm
man. I
so
like
excited to have an
it.
actual head coach
Tall receivers.
and
That too.
tall receivers,
Yeah.
and coaches who can coach. All
Yeah.
right. Oh man, this is just so amazing. I get excited thinking
I'm
about
ready.
offensive linemen. This is like,
Yeah.
we got hope.
Samoans, MAGA.
That's it. That's it. Hey man, it is what it is.
It is
It
what
is
it
what it
is,
is.
bro.
Hey, any other draft highlights you got, man? Anything sticks out to you as like a dang, that was a dope takeaway from the draft.
uh, I don't know. I'm excited to see. We talked about this when we did our mock. I'm excited to see the Ohio State guys
Yeah,
because I think all of them are day one starters. I think even though Carnell Tate was a reach to me, he's a day one starter because he's number 4 pick. Caleb Downs dropped to number 11. Cowboys, I like the fit for him. He's day one starter.
yeah,
Sonny Styles with Dan Quinn, day one starter. I'm excited to see those three guys. I think they're going to do well because they're going to be thrust into the action.
yeah.
So I think they'll do well.
Yeah, no, I feel you. Like I said, and I thought the Titans reached, and I don't really know what they're doing. But that being said, yeah, I don't think Cardinal Tate bust if that makes sense. Like I think he's solid, high end wide receiver two is going to play a long time. For me, one of the biggest takeaways was Avion Terrell getting drafted,
Bro,
and
that was a cool
that was a
moment.
cool moment. That was
That
dope.
was
And it's great to be able to see that and to like for it to be warranted if that makes sense. Like Terrell,
yeah,
he
yeah.
had a chance to I think maybe go in the latter part of the first round. It's a need,
I thought he would.
he's talented. It's not just a nepotism pick. Then the team has a need for that, and like They are very legitimately going to roll out two brothers, very likely as starting
That's
cornerback
crazy, bro.
on a defense that I think will be
Yeah,
a top
that's
10
really good.
defense. Um, that's dope. That's cool.
I think that was the coolest
Yeah,
part. And bro, to see literally, if you don't know much, like we're from this area, Westlake, Clemson, Falcons. They both did
yeah,
it in the same
yeah.
order. Both left after 3 years. Both were stars at Westlake. Like that was a cool moment. I didn't coach against AJ Terrell, but I coached against Avion, and it's people thought it was kind of a nepotism pick for him to even go to Clemson.
Hmm.
He's not that good, going off his brother. Nah, bro, he's a
Nah,
player.
he like that.
He's a player. A little bit shorter than his brother, but they both have the dog in them. They're both skilled.
Yeah.
AJ's a little bit better athlete. I think Avion has a because he was undersized. He played with a little bit more dog because he had to,
Hmm.
and I like it, man. I like them at Clemson,
Yeah.
even though I hate Clemson.
Yeah, man. That's one of those things. Like, we talk about these guys as I think just like names and how they fit within cogs
Yeah,
and systems. But that was a reminder. I think that's good for all of us. And just like, these guys work so hard for so long and
bruh,
sacrifice so much.
we just talk about it,
Yeah.
but they
You
like
know,
they do
like,
this.
and we both are crazy. Like we lift, we train 6 times a week.
Yeah,
Like it doesn't compare to
nope.
what they do, what they've done, what they've had to do. For decades to get to this point. And so that was dope to see. Just like, yeah, man, this really is dreams coming true, life changing for young men.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
that's pretty dope. It's a good reminder, that there are humans playing this game that we love. So
yeah, yeah,
um,
yeah, yeah.
sounds dope. Hey, like us, subscribe, share, give us 5 stars,
All of
all
that.
that. If you don't, you know
You know what
exactly
you
what
are.
you are. Big face hater. And we'll be back next week on All 22. Talk a little bit of we'll touch base on some of the teams we didn't talk about. Sort of drafts, I guess, sort of middle ground. Folks. Talk a
Mhm.
little bit about Brendan Sorsby, get back into some college football talk. We haven't talked college in a minute, especially with the spring game.
I can't wait to talk about that because of
Man,
how we promote betting in the sport, but that's we can wait.
don't make no sense. What y'all expect to happen? Anyway, All 22.